what's going on, everyone? So yeah, here we are, the world trying to recover from chaos, but amongst that chaos, the Nintendo Switch has been a light for many, the fastest selling console in the world, with a list of software sales that would make any other developer jealous with envy. And here comes me, about to throw some criticism, Nintendo's way during the celebration of 35 years of not only the most well-known video game character ever, but also I'd argue the most well-known animated character ever. And of course Mario is animated. Sometimes I go to make these videos, and you can't help but wonder, am I the only person with complaints at a time like this? I mean there are plenty of worse things to complain about at the moment, right? But hey, I'm a Nintendo fan, and guess what, people? It's okay to criticize Nintendo. It's okay to criticize anything as long as your grounds for criticism have merits. And in my case, being a Nintendo fan since the NES, I still, and still being a Nintendo fan to this day, of course, I feel I have a few things that need addressing, or at least, I suppose, gotten off my chest. But I hope this doesn't turn into a rant, but more of a question, probably a really long question, but mostly about how you feel about Nintendo and their immense catalogue of classic titles over the years, and how we are replaying these games. So as we know, we just had a Nintendo Direct, and a Mario themed Nintendo Direct to celebrate the plumber's 35 years on this planet. Well, not on the planet, actually came out a bit earlier, didn't he? But 35 years since his own game. A video game character, that for many of us, cemented our love for gaming, and has without a doubt impacted us in many positive ways. Certainly more positive ways than negative ones. A lot of games were shown off, as we know. Many old, some new. But for me, it's the old. It's the old, I suppose, the old, that of late seems to trigger something in me, a level of frustration that has plagued me since the Switch launched. But let me try to get straight to the point without beating around the bush anymore. In my title, you see me say, £50 for Mario 64. So, what do I mean by that, and why does this Super Mario 3D All-Stars bundle bug me a bit, when in reality it should be a celebration. Well, for the most part, this goes all the way back to the Wii. I say the Wii because that was Nintendo's first real console that was online, and not only that, we saw that Nintendo were able to get pretty much all of their games in digital form on what was the Virtual Console on the Wii. For me, for the first time, Nintendo had a way to offer and preserve their classics in digital form, attached to a user account as well. Roll forward to the Wii U, and in typical Nintendo online fashion, many things change, but after a while, you could still get access to most of those classic games that were put into digital form. And of course, with the Wii U being backward compatible, you can go straight into the old Virtual Console and get those games that way. And you could easily transfer any purchases that you made on your Wii over to your Wii U. But seeing as the Wii U was slightly different, Nintendo allowed you to somewhat upgrade your Wii digital purchases onto the Wii U with easier access, as well as Miiverse support for an additional small fee. And we're talking about, just like the amount of like £1.50 here, which is what it was in the UK, for your somewhat upgraded version of, Super Mario 64 or whatever else you bought. Not perfect, of course, but it was there and it was welcomed. Jump to the Switch and all that was gone, as we know. This time around, you had to sign up to a subscription service and wait to see what games on the NES and SNES Nintendo would trickle out as part of your monthly or yearly payment. Now, I have no issues with a subscription service for the most part, just as long as you feel you're getting your money's worth, which I'm sure some people would debate in regards to Switch Online, once again, considering what we had for free on the Wii and Wii U, but here we are, on the fastest selling console ever made. We previously had a history with Nintendo for older titles in digital form, but those digital games are, nowhere to be seen, at least in regards to this Super Mario 3D All-Stars bundle. As we know, both Super Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy are already in digital form on the Wii U. You can buy them now. But if you want to play Super Mario 64 on the Switch, you have to pay for it. You have to buy it for £50. So let me just repeat that again. If you want to play Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo Switch, it will cost you £50 instead of, say, £8.99 on the Wii U. And why is this? It's because Nintendo have not yet put N64 games on their Switch Online subscription service, even though these games pretty much in their entirety, pretty much the entirety of their N64 first-party offerings were already in digital form on the Wii and Wii U. Now, of course, people will say that these are upgraded versions, right? Which they are, for the most part. They are what I'd call your typical HD updates. Nothing major done to them. Just for the most part, these base original games, somewhat cleaned up and put into a higher resolution. But yeah, they're still upgrades for the most part. So I ask you this: for those who have already purchased Super Mario 64 and, say, Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii or the Wii U, would it not have been nice for that Wii U cheap upgrade for you loyal Nintendo consumers to have who have had their online accounts for years now, so clearly Nintendo know what you've bought under your email address and your Nintendo accounts. I saw recently CD Projekt Red earlier on Twitter say that The Witcher 3 is coming to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and if you already own the original on PC, PS4 and Xbox One, then you can get this upgraded version on your next console for free. And not only that, it'll be upgraded with ray tracing and all the other shiny things people like these days. Yet here we are, and the only way for us Nintendo fans who can to play Super Mario 64 on a Nintendo Switch is to buy it again for £50, because that's what we have to do. There's no other way for you to play Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo Switch apart from buying this bundle at this point in time. It doesn't matter that this title is linked in with two other games for this price. I've seen that argument. It is still the only way that you can currently play Super Mario 64 on the Switch, to pay £50 for it. And yeah, of course, people will still argue, yeah, but with that £50, and the value of the other two games, blah blah blah, is going to be there. But I'll get into that now. People might say that is a great bundle of games, and I agree. It is a great bundle of games. It has bloody Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy in it, without a doubt the best platformers of their respective eras. Those eras, those games each came out in. But going back to these games, they are still pretty much your regular old HD updates for the most part. Hell, I would say the Super Mario 64 homage in Mario Galaxy, which is actually part of this bundle, got more love that Mario 64 did in this new release, and I would argue that Mario 64 DS was a much better homage to Mario 64 than this release is, but I don't want to go into that territory, because even I go up and down on how I like certain games to be brought back and remade, etc. Then of course you can look at other recent releases of older games like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, 3 games completely remade, bundled together and sold for cheaper than this bundle. Yes, we can we can joke around and say that these Mario games destroy these games design-wise, which they do, of course. But the fact of the matter is that they exist as a bundle and have been completely remade and at a cheaper price. And guess what? They're available, not for a limited time, but for how long they have been, for how long they could be available for, unlike this 3D All-Stars bundle, which is set to vanish from the world in March next year, both physically and digitally, which is just mind-boggling. I don't know. This doesn't completely feel like 35 years worth of celebration to me, because it goes beyond, for me, Super Mario as a character. Super Mario is what he is, not just because of Nintendo. Obviously a big part of Nintendo, they made the damn games, but not just because of Nintendo, but because of us fans who, in the eras of Nintendo, being online with their historic games, have, within the Switch era, for the most part, been treated like brand new customers. Because that's what essentially what we are. Our history with Nintendo was erased, pretty much when we got the Nintendo Switch. This 35-year Mario fan, me, in the Switch era to Nintendo, is a brand new customer. With all my cataloged history with Nintendo, both physical and digital, I could walk up to Nintendo right now, show them all my games, both physical and digital, show them all my accounts or my loyalty over the years, show them my versions of Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo DS, the Wii and Wii U, and they'd look at me and say, sorry, don't know who you are. If you want to play Super Mario 64 on the Switch, that will be £50, please. And I'd scream, £50 for Mario 64. This isn't, 1996, Nintendo. I think, the fact that that we've all got to this point and are cheering, for this collection is, slightly mind-boggling to me. Newcomers, as always, will be thrilled. People who didn't grow up with these Mario games will be thrilled. Good for them. But as for me, a Super Mario fan who can actually say that he was around when Super Mario Bros. First released on the NES, and to where we are today with modern technology and knowing that Nintendo have a lot of these games already in digital form and we bought them previously and they know it, it's just crazy to me. If these games got the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess treatment, then I wouldn't be grumbling, as much. Even if they released as standalone titles, I wouldn't be grumbling. They were worthy updates. Some people will say that this is the first time Sunshine has been released, since the GameCube. And they'll also say, I don't want to go back and buy the GameCube version. Prices are ridiculous, which they are. All I say to that is blame Nintendo. There's literally been no excuse as to why GameCube games haven't been made readily available and digital yet on Nintendo platforms, just like their other virtual console games from the NES, SNES, N64. Because as we know, Galaxy is in this package, and that came out on a Nintendo Wii, the GameCube successor, and both Galaxy 1 and 2 are both available on the Wii U virtual console right now. So we know these games are already in digital form. Then we later find out that the GameCube controller, even though it works on the Switch, has been disabled for Sunshine, or at least won't function fully, which is mental. Because Mario Sunshine is one GameCube game that actually uses the analog triggers well. Remember those Nintendo analog triggers? That's a whole nother rant, isn't it? Some would argue this already makes the Switch version inferior, control-wise. This is a great bundle. It really is a great bundle. It really is. And I think other things like Mario Kart AR, that go-kart thing, is a cool idea. Expensive. My God, you see the prices? Too expensive. But cool. And of course, the Super Mario Battle Royale game is a cool idea. But even that's being taken off at some point, which once again makes the Switch online subscription service even more mind-boggling to me. I won't go into a rant about how I feel in regards to Super Mario 3D World, but even I even find that frustrating. Given the fact that the Switch has its own brand new 3D Mario game, which is of course the greatness of Super Mario Odyssey, and I'm sure it would have been, for me, I'm sure it would have been great to have some effort put into new levels of DLC for that game for this 35-year celebration, instead of putting effort into new levels of a Wii U game. It's been a crazy year, and I think it's clear that it's affecting Nintendo's plans for things, whether that's timing of releases or new content, game-wise, but it's certainly been off. It's been a struggle for a long time, Nintendo fans like me. How many more times will we keep buying the same games, and in Nintendo's case, pay a large sum for something that the industry has shown doesn't need to no longer be a thing for loyal customers who have bought these products on previous consoles or platforms, just like The Witcher 3. And just like plenty of other games that are doing this. I think eventually Nintendo will take us all for a ride again and re-release these games individually at separate prices, but ultimately, we still end up paying chunks of money for them again. Anyway, this has gone on for long enough. If you made it to the end, thanks for sticking around. I'll return with something more positive, I promise. Let's just take this time, I suppose, to wish Super Mario, a happy 35th anniversary, since its first standalone title, and just enjoy playing some good games. As for me, Mario 64 has and always, will play best on the Nintendo 64. But anyway, take care all. Peace.